this is a matchup where Reid's going to want just the right mix of things.
Yes.
You know, you want to hit him with the discard on turn 1, get a little pressure onto the board turn 2. You know, maybe another discard spell plus a removal for their lord, so to speak.
Yeah, they're cost reducers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, hopefully grind them out from there. A Liliana of the Veil in there to tax the resources even more.
The thing about this Storm deck is when it has one of its cost reducers, it's nuts.
Yeah, it gets so unfair.
You get to play Gifts for 3 mana, and then basically start to combo the next turn as here's a Serum Visions off of Scalding Tarn. So now we'll see James scry 2. Baral is among those cards. And because you get to play 8 cost reducers, the likelihood of you having one, being able to do your thing, is pretty high. We'll see if it ever lives. You know, especially when you're playing against Jund that has Bolt and Push and Abrupt Decay and Terminate, and Reid's even got a Maelstrom Pulse and a Kolaghan's Command. You can kill those things pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
For Duke, it's a Blooming Marsh, and now it's an Inquisition of Kozilek. He knows what he's up against right away. As you see, Gifts Ungiven, Paretic Ritual, Remand, Thought Scour, a Mountain, and an Island.
And I really appreciate Reid helping us out.
Oh, he knows.
Spreading the hand out on the table for us. James clumps it up into one pile and just hands it to him.
Pick a card, don't show the camera. not Reid's first rodeo here in the Future Match area. So Reid is going to select a card here. Of course, he cannot take Gifts Ungiven, but he can select Thought Scour, Remand, or Paretic Ritual. He's going to take Remand, write down the contents of James's hand, and James will draw a card. And I think he's left a cost reducer on top.
Looks like a Baral.
Mm-hmm. But he's going to go towards a Thought Scour targeting himself. So 2 cards are going to go to the graveyard, and now he'll draw. Picked up a copy of Past in Flames. This is an island. He'll simply pass the turn back over to Duke. Duke will draw.
Got to get a body on the board here.
He's got a swamp. Well, here's an Inquisition of Kozilek. So I think James was trying to hide the fact that he had a Baral.
Sure.
So that he could maybe play it on the turn he was going to go off instead of just tapping out on turn 2. When you're playing against a deck that has Blooming Marsh, even though you may not know he's against Jund, any Blooming Marsh deck has removal in it.
Oh, yeah.
So
those green-black no removal decks.
Yeah, familiar with those? So we will see what Reid wants to select this time. Again, he can't take Past in Flames or Gifts Ungiven, but he can take Paretic Ritual and Baral.
He's going to leave the Baral.
Well, there's Thoughtseize. He might take it now. But it looks like he's going to take the more powerful Gifts Ungiven.
No, I mean, that just tells us he has to have a removal spell in his hand.
Yeah. This is what makes it really tough for Storm, as Flooded Strand is the draw. When you're playing against Jund or an Abzan or any deck that's Thoughtseize Inquisition, they can just rip you to shreds.
Sure. I still feel like if Reid doesn't have some pressure on the board, like this turn, it's got to be a creature, or it's got to be maybe Liliana, something to really pressure the opponent. It's just one top deck, one Gifts Ungiven off the top, away from having the resources to go off.
Mm-hmm. It's a stomping ground. And we might see a Liliana this turn, as Reid did take 2 from the Ravnica duel. And now here's Liliana. So the powerful Planeswalker has arrived. Of course, the elevator is going up. And we will see each player discard a card here momentarily. James will discard Past in Flames. Reid will discard Fatal Push. And now James is going to sacrifice a Flooded Strand.
And Liliana just doubly good, maybe triply, so to speak. So obviously it's going to strip cards out of James' hand. Reid doesn't mind discarding some of these excess removal cards that he has. He wants to be able to kill, you know, the cost reducers, but he doesn't want redundant copies just sitting around in his hand not doing anything. Even if he discards all of his all of his removal for the cost reducers, Lily is still there as the removal spell for that card. Mm-hmm. And the threat of the ultimate just takes away so many of the resources that James needs.
Which is pretty real.
Yes.
As Liliana's up to 5, both players will discard a land. Bloodstained Mire for Reid. Snow-covered Island for James. Now Reid will play a copy of Dark Confidant and simply pass the turn back. Manamorphose to draw here for James Ollerhead.
That Confidant looks very good here, but it's a card that I think in their current format is just not very good right now.
Okay. Any particular reason why?
Just you don't want, against a lot of decks, you don't want just more cards. You want very specific cards.
Okay.
It doesn't pressure the opponent well. It doesn't draw specific cards. You've seen a lot of decks move away from Dark Confidant towards like the new green-black guy.
Oh, Grimflayer.
Grimflayer, thank you. A card like that where it'll help you draw a specific card. It gets a lot more pressure on the opponent. You know, it has some synergies by putting potentially flashback cards into your graveyard.
Yeah, Dark Confidant not, I think, as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
If you're going to play it in any deck, I think the best place to play it is Jund.
Sure.
As opposed to Abzan. I think a lot of players have moved towards, at least for Abzan, Grimflayer plus Lingering Souls plus Tarmogoyf.
Yes.
And then we've even seen some players this weekend playing like an Abzan deck that has Bauble and Street Wraith in it. And some play Death Shadow, some don't. So for now, we're going to see Dark Confidant reveal a land. Electromancer does enter the battlefield, which means that Liliana probably wants to go down to take care of that. And now here comes Dark Confidant in for 2. And this is the kind of game that Jund wants to play. As Reid will play a Blackleaf Cliffs and pass the turn back. You want to basically exhaust your opponent's resources and then recoup your own.
I'm going to go after your hand. I'm going to go after your creatures. I'm going to go after your life total a little bit.
Chandra, Torch of Defiance to reveal.
just some of everything.
Yeah. Reid going to fall down to 11 now. Couple of lands there for Duke and another Planeswalker. Liliana, of course, very active, playing a huge role in this game. Confidant's going to come across here for 2. Ollerhead's going to fall down to 14. And now here comes the Torch of Defiance.
Yeah, this will really help up the clock. An extra 2 points a turn.
Try to just get this game over with. Reveal Maelstrom Pulse, 2 to James Ollerhead. He'll fall down to 12. Reid will play an Overgrown Tomb. Tick up his Liliana. Going to lose a Bloodstained Mire and pass the turn back as Ollerhead's going to sacrifice a Flooded Strand. You might see a Steam Fence here from James in just a moment as he falls down to 11.
And it's going to be really tough for him to win from this point.
I think it starts with Gifts Ungiven.
Yes. It's got to be multiple cards. It could potentially be he has a lot of lands. It could just be Ritual into Past in Flames.
Okay.
Because then he can go Ritual out of the graveyard. He has Manamorphose already in the graveyard. You know, he could go that way. But it would take a lot of good draw steps.
Here's Serum Visions. Ollerhead will draw. Remand and a Shivan Reef. I want to put those in the bottom.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Those are not what the doctor ordered. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's got it. I think it's no. Let him go. Let him go. I don't think those are helping. Empty the Warrens is the draw. That's not helping either.
Ooh, goblins.
Not right now. Duke going to reveal to Confidant. Kolaghan's Command down to 8.
Those Warrens aren't very full.
No.
Let's empty them. Two.
You're up. Not a lot going on there.
Come on, goblins.
Reid's getting a little low.
Yeah, I don't think it's that scary at this point. It does make it easier for his opponent to potentially grape shot him out.
Yeah, that's the thing that I would be scared of right now. Chandra's going to deal 2 more over to James, and now here's an attack for 2, so he's going to fall down to 7 when all is said and done. And remember, Duke does have a copy of Kolaghan's Command in hand. We might see a draw step Kolaghan's Command. We have a response. Pyretic Ritual. That was actually kind of the card he needed to draw, but because it's in his draw step, he's not going to get access to the mana.
Yeah.
So Reid's going to reveal Tarmogoyf, 6.
A little late for that guy.
Yeah.
The game's going to be over next turn with or without it.
So Reid could knock Ollerhead down to 1.
Yes.
Reveal Dark Confidant.
Yeah, don't want that guy on the board.
Nope. Not at all. Here's an attack for 2. Ollerhead's going to fall down to 3. Actually, going to fall down to 1, excuse me, because
Yep.
of the Chandra. Here's Tarmogoyf. There's a land. Plus, pass. If Ollerhead draws a ritual, this could get a little interesting. He drew Gifts Ungiven, which doesn't make it all that interesting.
Such a tease.
It really is. It really, really is. One could argue the best card he could have drawn last turn and the worst card he could have drawn this turn. And Pass in Flames costs 5 to cast from the graveyard, which would be all of his mana. So he can't really do much of anything. And now the only way for Ollerhead to be able to do this, I think, is Reid would have to make some horrifying mistake.
Yeah, it's not even possible at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what horrifying mistake Reid could make, and, well, it's Reid.
Reid could choose random modes on all of his cards.
Is there a 6 to reveal to Dark Confidant? There's not.
No, that's why it was important for him not to play the second one.
Yeah. Hey, there's an Olivia Voldaren in the deck. That's really about it. And as James was trying to Gifts Ungiven to see if there's a way out, there is not. And Reid Duke is going to win game number 1 here over James Ollerhead. Jund up a game over Blue-Red Gifts Storm. Craig, we're going to take a look at the sideboards here. We will start with Mr. Ollerhead, who's got 3 Lightning Bolts, 2 Dispels, 2 Shatterstorm, 2 Wear Tear, 2 Blood Moon, 2 Leyline of Sanctity, another copy of Empty the Warrens. He's got one of those in the main deck. And then a copy of Echoing Truth. What do you like and why?
All right, so these powerful enchantments are going to come in. I think Blood Moon can potentially surprise Reid. A lot of these decks, like Jund, just depend on getting all of their colors out of 2 lands. So a card like Blood Moon could potentially shut him down early. The Leyline of Sanctity, which is the Leyline that I confused with the Leyline of the Void earlier.
I totally let that go.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No problem.
That didn't happen.
There you go. This is the white one. You got it.
That's definitely a card that he's interested in just seeing on the first turn. Just protection from all of the discard spells.
Yep.
And just give him the time that he needs. Liliana is terrible against Leyline of Sanctity. You know, can't force the opponent to sack creatures. You can't ultimate them.
Yep. Can do the first mode. But
Yes, but you know that's not what it's in the deck for.
Yeah.
You know, you want everything. So anyway, the powerful enchantments is definitely where I'd be.
Okay. For Reid, 3 Fulminator Mage, 2 Collective Brutality, 2 Kitchen Finks, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Leyline of the Void, 2 Ancient Grudge, a Shatterstorm of his own, and another copy of Grim Lavamancer to go along with the one that he has in his main deck.
So I think Reid's going to be looking to get some amount of these removal spells out of his deck. A card like Termini is not so exciting. You want to make sure you have a little bit of this stuff. That's one of the reasons Lightning Bolt is always such a good card, because it's versatile.
Yep.
It can help him close out the game quick, and it's insurance against the cost reducers that he needs to kill out of his opponent's deck.
Yep.
A card like Maelstrom Pulse is kind of interesting because it's an insurance policy against Empty the Warrens.
Yep.
So he probably wants to keep that in the deck, but it's just not a great card in general for him. So I expect like Collective Brutality to come in out of the board. But not a whole lot of changes after that.
Yeah, I mean, I see the fatal pushes where, you don't love those. You kind of want to get some number of those out, but you still also want to leave some number of them in.
Yes.
To make sure that you can kill Baral and Goblin Electromancer. So I could see those leaving. Maybe he wants to have more creatures with Kitchen Finks. Maybe we'll want to see Leyline of the Void because this is a Gifts Ungiven Past in Flames deck. So we could see maybe those come in. Some decent options here for Duke.
Yep.
So we'll see how these players do sideboard. They're shuffling up, almost ready for game number 2. So in the meantime, we're going to talk about Jacob Baugh, who did win our last Invitational. We got another one of these things coming up very soon here in Roanoke, Virginia at the end of June, beginning of July. But he's our most recent Invitational champion. Did win our Atlanta Invitational closeout last year. A couple ways you can go about getting his limited edition Invitational token, like playing in an Open, playing in a Classic tomorrow, or all orders from StarCityGames.com, $5 or more. Congratulations to Jacob Baugh. And you were almost a token, man. You were almost a token.
This is the backlash.
This is the backlash from last round. You were almost a token. Second place in the Invitational last year. Close. You could have been that Clue token. You could have been it. I guess you could have been anything you wanted to be, but you could have been that Clue token. You know who else has a token?
Well, congratulations to Max for getting his token.
Max does have a token.
Yeah.
And a Grand Prix top 8 last weekend, too.
Yeah.
Max Affini, he's a gamer. Reid Duke also has a token with Star City Games. He's got a lot more than that, though, as we take a look and learn a little more about Reid.
Yeah, a little more than a token.
He's done some things in his career. Besides great hair
Yep.
and doing well in the Pro Tour. He's got 8 open top 8s, 5 wins. Pretty good conversion rate. 5 invitational top 8s for the W in Los Angeles many years ago. Okay, now let's see what he's got. Once beat Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past without dying or using a fairy.
You seem skeptical again.
That's doable.
You're making a face.
That's doable. That's
okay.
doable.
Okay.
Worked several years as an assistant to a jeweler. No, that's true.
Okay.
And one of our favorites.
So wait, just the second one.
Okay.
That means he's not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I was not aware.
He's doing okay in this area of life now.
Okay.
I think that he doesn't need to be an
Just
assistant to a jeweler.
full-on gamer.
I think full-on gamer now.
Okay.
And was a guest host of the 2008 Sugarloaf Awards.
Well, that's a big deal.
That is a very big deal for the 27-year-old from Sugarloaf, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get a lot of people there for the Sugarloaf Awards.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. That's almost 10 years ago. Can you believe that?
Man.
You want to feel old real quick? 2018's next year. And we're halfway through this one, basically. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So listing the year that comes after this year makes you feel old?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I keep thinking for some reason it's like 2015. It's not. Oh, 2 ley lines. Hello. Hey, found one.
There it is.
That's going to make it pretty hard for James to win now.
Yeah, well, and we'll see if James has brought in. He has the echoing truth.
Yep.
Out of his board. We'll
Yeah.
see if he was astute enough to bring that in.
Duke with an overgrown tomb as his first
It
land.
looks like James also has the backup plan, the empty the warrens in his hand.
I think that's probably a better way to go now, given the circumstances.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
Still not an easy road to hoe.
No, not at all. Not at all. Gonna sacrifice the Flooded Strand here for a land. He's down to 19. See if he's got a cost reducer. All right, Electromancer. Maybe hope it lives for a turn. Pass the turn back. Maybe Duke doesn't have much of anything.
Well, he pulled forward a Dark Confidant there, so we'll. And this empty the warrens. There's some gobos in that there cave this time.
This time there might be some gobos. I'm not sure what kind of the density of rituals and manamorphoses looks like right now for James Ollerhead, but a turn 3 up to the orange for 8 or 10 might be able to get the job done. We'll see. For now, well, Duke's got another sideboard card that's really good.
Oh no, there's no gobos in them there hills.
No. Collective Brutality, which will be escalated once, is his play. He'll take a look at James's hand. Not only is he going to lose his Electromancer, he's also going to lose his best card. A hand of another copy of Goblin Electromancer, an Empty the Warrens, a Desperate Ritual, aptly named, and a Sleight of Hand.
You like that name?
It is a good name right now.
Yeah, and Reid's considering what he wants to take here. When he already has the Lee line in play, the scariest cards are cards like Empty the Warrens. But if he's able to attack his opponent's hand enough, the Empty of the Warrens doesn't even really matter. And potentially Reid already has a Maelstrom Pulse in his hand to deal with that.
Yep. Here's a Sleight of Hand. Take a look at a couple here. Ley line is Sanctity, a little late. That's it's gonna go to the bottom.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, it's gonna go to the bottom. And now he's Serum Visions with a Blood Moon.
All the sideboard cards coming up.
Yeah. James's are coming at the wrong time. Reid's have come at a great time. Ollerhead kept a land on a Lightning Bolt on top. Over to Duke, we're gonna go. And Duke is savvy enough to know that these Storm decks, they do sideboard Blood Moon because they can play it as early as turn 2.
Yep.
Off of Desperate or Pyretic Ritual. So if he can search for basics, he will find the opportunity to do so. For example, I think he has a Verdant Catacombs in the hand right now, and it would not surprise me one bit to see him search for his forest. For now, he'll play Blackleaf Cliffs. And is there a follow-up? There is in Liliana of the Veil. That's going up. Going to start attacking the hand. And now, he's going to lose his Verdant Catacombs, and James will lose his Gifts Ungiven. It's exiled thanks to Leyline of the Void. To Ollerhead will go. He'll play a Scalding Tarn, and he can play a Blood Moon now if he wants.
Now's the time.
I'm not sure how good it is, but it's the best thing that he can really do this turn.
Once again, players in the QPM Standard Challenge, your pairings have made their way back to the
Yeah, there's actually even the question of, hey, maybe this Blood Moon is just better to discard to the opposing Lily.
Yep.
Like, he only has so many resources to work with. And Reid's decision of taking that ritual is just looking very sharp right now.
Yeah, right now it really is. So here's Blood Moon. But it's not a Blood Moon I think that Ollerhead is enthused about, as Duke is going to draw a card here. Elevator going up on Liliana. Electromancer and Raging Ravine down. I think we're going to see Dark Confidant here in just a moment. We do. And Duke is empty-handed. Ollerhead has one card in hand and empty the Warrens. He'll draw. He could make 2.
There's gobos in them there hills.
He could make 2 whole goblins right now. He drew a 4th land.
Those poor goblins.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here. Don't think this matchup's very good for Storm.
Yeah, Jun has the right mix.
Yeah.
You know, the cost reducers are never going to stick on the board for a couple of turns.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Attacking the hand is a very effective way of stalling the Storm deck. You know, and we've already talked about how good Lily is of just building and building against them.
Fulminator Mage going to come down here for Duke.
I'm a little surprised to see the Fulminator Mage, but it's possible Duke was just like, there's enough bad cards in my deck that I don't want anymore.
Yep.
Or just stone raiding the Storm deck for a turn. You're already taxing the resources in so many ways that this is another avenue that just buys you time, and that's all the Jun deck needs.
Makes sense. We're going to see a couple copies of Serum Visions here. We saw the first one scry 2 cards to the bottom. A second one here from Ollerhead's going to also scry 2 cards to the bottom. A Lightning Bolt in hand right now. I think you got to kill Dark Confidant. Yeah. No good attacks, of course. It's a 2-2 against 2 1-1s, but Duke is only going to get 1 card a turn now. So that's a step in the right direction for Mr. Ollerhead. Look, it's baby steps right now.
Yeah, no.
It's baby steps. You got to crawl before you can walk. That Liliana is the real problem.
Yeah, and you know, Reid's like, hey, do I ultimate this? Do I go up with it and then ultimate it later and then still have it on the board?
Mm-hmm. That's the real question.
It all works.
Yeah. 1 away from ultimate right now, I believe. And then, even if he could ultimate it, would he even do it? Like I said, don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. We didn't get a good look at what Reid drew.
Nope.
That's not the only thing we don't know.
KG with that one.
But it's given him some pause.
Yeah, he's thinking about this. Okay.
Verdant Catacombs. Okay.
Yeah, and he did decide to go up.
My apologies. Liliana Ultimate 6, not 7.
And James can knock the Lily down to 6 again, but he's losing a lot in the process. You know, Reid's just in such the driver's seat here.
Yeah. See, what does Duke want to do now?
I would start by ultimating Lily. I would split it 3 lands and Blood Moon 2 goblins in a land.
Okay.
And like, there's no way James can win off of 1 land. Just can't do it. So he has to keep the 3 lands,
which turns on your
which turns up on the Raging Ravine, and then Reid can really get the clock going.
Okay.
And he doesn't have to worry about the goblins coming back at him because they were sacrificed to the Liliana effect.
Well, it's time to split them up. Separate all permanents target player controls into 2 piles. That player sacrifices all permanents in the pile of his or her choice. What a powerful planeswalker.
Average.
Second best planeswalker of all time?
Yeah, I think by the metric of seeing how they're played, yes.
Jace is obviously number 1.
Yeah, Jace is number 1.
Liliana probably number 2?
Yeah.
I think that's right. I'm trying to think of, like, there's the Elspeths, there's Karn.
Oh, there's a lot of really good planeswalkers. What makes Liliana so good is that it costs 3 and it does everything you want it to do.
Yeah. Well, you see the split there. It was lands versus permanents, basically.
Oh, he went 4 and 3. And
now we're going to get Liliana off the battlefield.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked that James didn't keep the 4 lands.
Well, here comes Fulminator Mage.
I mean, the plan of 1 Gabo against all of my opponent's resources.
Well, I think the plan is I hope you draw all green cards.
Well, he didn't attack that turn.
I am surprised by that.
I think it's meaningless,
Yeah.
you know, one way or the other, but
Manamorphose the draw. Well, now he's going to attack. Okay, so I think he just missed the attack last turn. If the plan is to, you know, draw a critical mass, he can try.
he doesn't have the lands.
Well, you got to draw some of those too. There's a lightning bolt. Hey, find a red source. Reid can't cast anything.
No, can't cast the green cards.
There's a Verdant Catacombs pass.
He doesn't need to cast the green cards.
Island isn't it? Yeah, keep attacking. Well, we can't be halfway.
No, of course.
Either we're always attacking or we're chump blocking immediately. We can't go halfway with this.
No, of course.
Yeah. 13-8. Pyretic Ritual.
So we need a red source and an Empty the Warrens.
Yes, then it's the nuts. In again. I would probably stop attacking now if I'm James. Maybe if I drew gifts. Like I don't. I guess if you're at 6, you're in double bolt range, so it doesn't matter. Draw. Reid drew an Inquisition.
Well, early you might be able to chump block, but later Reid's definitely going to use one of his removal spells that's just cluttering up his hand.
Yeah. Now this is interesting, right? Because James has 3 rituals. He's got a Manamorphose. He's got a Lightning Bolt. He's got a Gifts Ungiven. Now Reid cannot take Gifts Ungiven. So does he want to take Manamorphose or does he want to take a Lightning Bolt?
Yeah, and you see him thinking about it.
Yeah.
I didn't think this game would last this long after Lily ultimated.
I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that we got here.
And James is right on the brink of potentially winning it.
Yeah. He will take Manamorphose. Pass a turn back. Draw. Do not attack. Good. I would not attack there. I think Reid has a fatal push for the token.
Yeah, I don't think it mattered if he attacked or not.
In. Gotta draw a red source, James. Oh, Liliana back. That's pretty good.
There's cards to discard.
Easy discard for James. James wants any land. That's a redraw. He found a hollow. Ugh. Oh, no. The hollow found enters the battlefield tap. Couldn't even do it untapped for the Blood Moon for a red source of mana, and that is going to do it. Reid Duke's going to win this match over James Ollerhead. Jun going to take care of Blue-Red Gift Storm, and for the Duke, he is